KK, Cleveland's best mix of R&B, Sam Sylk Show in the building. Yeah, in the studio. In the land, LaPortia Renae.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm good. She's like, this guy is pumped. Yeah, good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
No doubt. Already.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on the album.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're going to have some fun here. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, congrats on your career. Congrats with American Idol. You're getting so much on social media that, you know, the whole world is talking about you.
Right.
I mean, the world is talking about you, man. You're doing some amazing things. You can sing.
Thank you.
You can sing.
Thank you.
Not sing. You sing.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be in this place in your life?
It's a very happy feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like kind of like a reward for the place I was right before now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And what was that place? You were working to get into business. To kind of take us there before, you know, the American Idol.
Well, before American Idol, I was married to a military man, and things were really abusive. Mm-hmm. So I got out of the situation, and 2 months later, American Idol came.
Mm.
So after being married for 5 years, I finally got the divorce finalized in November after American Idol. Mm. So ever since then, things have been really nice.
We have queens who have been going through this, who are listening now. What advice would you give them? I mean, you were married 5 years, and out of those 5, was the whole 5 he was being abusive?
Well, one of those 5 years, I was doing Idol. Mm-hmm. I was still legally married until November. But yes, the whole marriage, I was being abused. And to any woman in it, I would say, well, first I want to speak to the parents. Well, not the parents, but the people around the victim or the survivor, because a lot of times they feel really helpless because, you know, you don't really know what to do. You're sitting here watching this person being hurt, and you can't really force them out of something because they'll just go back. Because, you know, I went back several times. So what I would say is to be the strongest support system that you can for them, and don't necessarily get frustrated with them if they don't leave right away. Just kind of, but also be careful to not get too invested in it, because it can break your heart if, you know, they decide to stay. Yeah. And to the person in it, it really does come from a place within. You have to like realize and come to terms with the fact that this is not the way it's supposed to be. Because sometimes the mind tricks you and makes you think it is. And
that's why you went back.
That's why I kept going back. I was like, you know, maybe it was we always find a way to kind of blame ourselves for whatever's going on. If you're assaulted sexually, you're like, well, maybe I wasn't, you know, doing my job as a wife, so to speak. Or if you're hit, or if you're talked down on or cheated on, you're like, well, you know, maybe I deserve that because of this or that. I always found a way to blame myself for whatever happened. So when I stopped doing that, and I'm like, hey, God didn't put me on this earth to be hit and abused and talked down to and cheated on and all of that. That's not the way marriage was supposed to be. Right. I'm getting out. And a lot of times it has something to do with the way we grew up as well, because I grew up around a lot of Christians and a lot of church folk.
Turn the other cheek, daughter. God's gonna bless it.
Right, you know, and that's exactly what I had when I would talk to people. They'd send me to 1st and 2nd Corinthians. You know, the holy wife makes the husband holy, or something like that. It says something like.
Is there a verse in there that says thou should not beat her ass?
Look, no, I don't believe it. But you know,
it's in there. It's in there. Just don't say it like that.
I think that was misinterpreted, and that a lot of times people do use the Bible to be like, well, you got to stick through it, pray for your husband and all of that. I mean, you could pray for him, but pray for him, pray for him from afar. So sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to love from afar. And once I realized that I was like, okay. Now, I didn't leave when I realized that, but I started, to kind of not accept things that I used to, and it was a process.
Yeah.
What made it, what was the breaking point for me was when my daughter was born. So I didn't even know I could have kids. And I was told I
wouldn't. You was pregnant too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So after I had her, that's when I was like, okay, well, I can make excuses for myself and say I deserve this because of this and that, but I can't do that for an innocent child. So I went into mother bear mode, and I'm like, she's not gonna witness this. She's not gonna experience this. Yeah. And the final straw, I had already been, thinking about leaving and thinking of how, because the laws are really, tricky. And now I had a kid. I can't just run away with her, or I can actually go to jail for kidnap, even though I'm the mother. So the laws in Mississippi are really tricky. So I had to find a way to get out and take my daughter with me. Yeah. So April 29th, he tried to take my life, and he tried to choke me to death. It was like 2-3 a.m. And
this is right before American Idol.
Right before American Idol. So I ended up calling the police, and they took him. And from then on, like, it was kind of just like, where do I go from that? Where do I go from here? And I was watching American Idol. 'Cause I always watched American Idol, The Voice. I like singing shows. And Ryan was like, this is the last year. And I had auditioned when I was 16.
Yeah.
Got a standing ovation from the stadium, and I still didn't get through.
You didn't make it.
So I was like, well, I mean, I really have nothing to lose right now, so let me go. So I went, and I stayed prayed up, and I got yes after yes after yes after yes. And it was a shock to me. Every time I was just shocked. I was like, wow.
How did you handle that? And I applaud you, and God gave you strength.
Thank you.
What during that time? I mean, here it is, American Idol,
right?
And you're going through this divorce,
right? I kind of like made myself. I think I suppressed everything. I think I pretended in my mind that I wasn't going through that, and I just focused on American Idol. And how I know that that's what happened is because I was finding, when it came down to song choice, I was finding songs that I love to hear over the radio, that I was singing along to, blah, blah. And they had a show to where America had to choose our songs. One of the songs that was chosen for me was Ready for Love by India.Arie. And the other song that was chosen for me was No More Drama by Mary J. Blige. So I had a breakdown. It was like, everything came back at once. Right. And when it was a weird experience because I talked about my experience, but I talked from like third person, or put myself in third person. I just kind of disassociated myself. And I was always bubbly, fun. I'm always laughing, so nobody would think, but once they heard my story, they're like, wow, but you're around here, So when that week came, I had a breakdown, and I told Scott Borchetta, I was like, I can't do that song because it's way too close to home. Like, I'm not going to make it through the song. Right. And he was like, just try it, kept pressuring me, just try it, you need this moment. He was telling me I needed the song. I was like, So anyway, the first rehearsal we had on that song, the music started. Like, the first beat, Ricky Minor and the band played the first beat, and I just broke down on stage. And they were like, you know what? Save it for the show. Because usually we have, like, choreographers come in to tell us, maybe you should go here, maybe you should. Yeah. They were like, we just going to let you do what you do. You need to have this moment. So I didn't practice the song the entire week. Wow. First time I sang that song was on stage. In front of everybody, and it was organic. It was whatever they saw, that's what it was. And I was really nervous. They were nervous too because you know how they showed the short stories before. Right. So they showed me mine over and over and over again all week so that I could kind of they didn't want me to be taken off guard. I was like, as long as you take my ears out, because if you leave my ears in, I'm not going to be able to make it.
Right.
They accidentally left my ears in.
You heard it.
I heard the story. I heard myself crying and talking about, what was going on. And for those that were there live, I was just pacing the stage, and I was like just trying to make sure I kept it together before. And all through the song, it was shaky moments and everything. It was not my best vocal at all, but I couldn't help it because I was trying to just hold back. And luckily, I made it through the song, and then I had to break down afterwards. But that moment was Scott Pachetta was right on that, and I needed that moment simply because I had been dealing with it a little bit in silence. Like, I've been talking about it on a not so deep level. Right.
But that moment opened it up. It freed you.
Right. Right. And it was also needed for me. It was all God's plan, because it was also needed for me because I still had the mindset like I'm the only one going through this right now. And when I had that moment, J-Lo stood up and she cried and she clapped and she was like, I've been through that. We've all, had situations like that. And that was it was a defining moment for me, because I'm like, wow, J-Lo, out of all people, So although it hurt my heart that someone like her had been through something like that, it also it snapped me out of that weird mentality that I had of me being the only one.
And that now, you're the strength for so many people.
Right.
You are the strength.
Right.
People hear your story, your testimony.
Right.
They're not just fans of the music, but of your life. You're like a hero to them.
Right. And that happened, I didn't expect that, so that's when I started thinking, wow, this is bigger than me, because people started emailing me, kids even, men, women, everybody that had been through something like that. I had some women email me saying, because you did it, I think I'm going to try and take my kids and leave this year.
Wow.
So, I was just like, taken back, and it really put things in perspective for me. And so I after No More Drama, it was no longer a competition to me. It was more like, now I know why I have to do this. Now I know why you gave me this platform. So. And
so now here it is. Your CD is available for everybody, and you got the hits, and so when you're singing, when some of the songs on the CD, were there moments where you got personal, like the No More Drama, maybe not with that situation, but what songs are those?
I had a No More Drama moment on Hideout. Hideout, and we took after he comped it, he took a lot of the ad-lib out, but it was that cry, that plead kind of feel in Hideout, and the lyrics are, I'm letting go, no you can't stop me now, I break away because I found my hideout. That's the chorus. And like it just, when I heard the song, he was like, what, you want this song? He really didn't understand. I was like, no, I'm trying to tell you, like every time I hear this song, I burst out into tears. Breathe was another one, because Breathe was it was personal to me, because sometimes in a weird kind of way, music is the only thing that helps me to breathe. I was a victim of domestic violence, and now I suffer from PTSD. I suffer from severe anxiety. I suffer from rape trauma. So those are the things that it makes it hard sometimes to just do the simple things, just get out of bed, or to just want to go out and say, I don't really go out. I'm in the house by like 6 every day. My evening is like sitting on the couch watching Little House on the Prairie.
What you know about that?
Hey, I got all 204
what?
episodes.
That's straight old school. Little House on the Prairie, damn.
But
No good time?
Read. Look, I got good times. I got good times. The Jeffersons.
Yeah,
Little House
Little
on the
House on the
Prairie.
Prairie. That's older than
Dr.
all of
Quinn and
us.
Messel. Look.
But those are some good shows.
If I was back in the day, I would have took Charles Ingalls from Carol. I'm not gonna lie.
So tell me about home.
Home.
How has it changed with your friends? Are they?
I haven't been.
Friends?
I haven't been really.
Yeah.
I haven't been that much.
Yeah.
Been
on the road.
But it is different when I go back. I've gone back a couple times, and it's real different.
Good, bad, different?
It's good,
okay.
But it's weird.
Okay.
It's weird good, because so I do have a friend down there, Taisha, and we've been friends since high school, and, she still treats me the same. It's, it's nice. Her family kind of fangirls a little bit. My family, more than any other family, fangirls. I get my hair I get my hair ready and get it done, and I put my makeup on and get dressed, and they're like, when you pick your hair like that, like, it's LaPortia Renae. Right. You're no longer Portia. I'm like, I'm the same person.
Right.
But it's nice, and I have people that I've known from school that I wasn't popular in school, so
you popular now,
right?
They're gonna want you to come to the reunion. You gotta perform.
Yeah, I got invited to the homecoming that was coming up. I felt that. Yeah, I was like, what? Mm-hmm. So anyway,
everybody who didn't know you're not. Yeah, we say all.
They knew me. I just wasn't popular, and it's just the kid things, like when you're growing up and people find out you can sing, and me, I went to a predominantly black school, so the light-skinned girls always get picked on just because they feel like we're better than everybody. It's just a preconceived notion of us. I don't know.
The light complexion girl.
I always wanted to be dark.
Think they all that.
Yeah, they do.
That's what you think?
They do say that. Yeah, they say that a lot. So, but anyway, that's kind of how I grew up. I grew up being picked on and stuff for my eye color.
It's amazing. Before we wrap it up, it's amazing how that people could judge by, they try to judge. Well, she's light skinned, so she like this.
Right.
She dark skinned, so she not this. Why is that?
I think we're taught stereotypes. Because I've never looked at somebody and thought that. I don't know why people choose to
slave
do that.
Mentality.
But I guess so. Yeah. But we are taught to, hey, if you see someone dressed like this, or if you see someone, and I have a song on my album called Cover Up, and it kind of hits on that because, okay, what would you do if you saw a hooker on the street? What would you do? What would you? You probably talk about it, right? You'd be like,
"Hey, girl, how long you been out here? Get home, put some damn clothes on. What's wrong with you?
And
my kids in
the car." Honest response, right? But most people, when they see that, they're like, "Oh, look at," especially women. Other women, they'll be like, "Look at her. That is a shame. That's just, that's ridiculous. She should be ashamed of herself and this and that." And, it is a sad sight to see, but you never, ever, ever know what made that person, or what landed that person in that predicament. You never know their life story. You never know, the journey they took there. So I tell people all the time, I'm like, you cannot judge a book by its cover. I came to California and I met a girl, and she was a porn star. And I talked to her. No, don't even go there. But seriously,
do we have her collection? Okay.
I talked to her, and nobody and I won't mention her name, but I was taking this class for a job. It was like an orientation, and nobody would talk to her because they knew what she did and they knew how she dressed and all that. So I go over and talk to her, and we start hanging out every day. And one day she just breaks down in my arms and she cries and she tells me, you're so amazing. You know, I really wish that my life was like this or this, blah, blah, blah. She starts telling me everything she's gone through. She had a sister that was like 26 or 27 with a 4-year-old mind. Her mother was in the streets and abandoned them really young. Her uncle, you know, would bring people over, and she was molested and raped and all of that. And so, you know,
you never know. You never, like you said, you never know why.
You never know. So you know, for me to just look at someone and be like, you know, how could you even let yourself do that? You know, it is something that I hope girls or women will eventually get out of, but at the same time, you know, how are they even gonna get out of that if they never have somebody come along and say, hey, you're better than this, you know, and with love and not judgment. You know what I'm saying? So a song called Cover Up on my album I dedicated to the rape trauma victims and victims of domestic violence, because a lot of times women especially judge other women. You know, the way I was treated by my ex-husband, I was just like, I mean, nobody's going to want me, especially if they find out about my past, especially if they find out about, you know, all this stuff that's happened. They're going to view me as used or damaged or, you know, but that was my mentality, you know, so you just never know. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for people like that. And even if they think they want to be there, they don't want. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah. And so you're not just a entertainer. You're not just a singer.
Right.
I mean, you know, I hear mentorship.
Right.
I hear motivational speaker. I mean, your heart is just it shows. You can feel it, and you're very sincere.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So the album it's got a lot of different songs for different people, and I dedicated a lot of them to. On the booklet, I put the dedications on there, and it's something for everybody. There's a song on there for the victims and survivors of police brutality. There's a song on there for the people who suffer from severe anxiety. So it's just I don't just make music to make music.
LaPortia, Renae, thank you so much for spending time with me today. We
Thank
got it
you
right here, man. The Same Sylk Show.